All right, folks, here we go. We got part 2 of the book, section 1, consolation games. The following fine game of considerable analytical importance in the opening was played in October 1857 during the progress of the American Chess Congress in New York. Morphy's opponents being 3 strong players: D.W. Fisk, W.J.A. Fuller, and F. Perrin. All right, here we go. This is officially game number 74. New York, October 1857. Here we go. Morphy is playing black. And he answers with the king pawn. The knights come out, and bishop to c4. We have the 2 knights defense by Morphy. Look at this. All right. This is a good one to know, kids, so pay attention. Here it says, okay, the knight by white leaps up to g5, and there's a double attack on the f7 square by the king bishop and the white knight on g5. So now it says right here, a variation which has gone through many, holy smokes, in my eyes, I can't even see that one, folks, but it's been used in the it's been back and forth in the opinion of experts. Black's pawn sacrifice next move, once thought to prove knight to g5 premature, was later brought into doubt by the analysts of Leonhardt and others, following the lines of the present game for 9 moves. See also the notes on move 10 below. So here we go. Here it is. Okay. This is the move like Shredder sees. D5. You block that diagonal of the king bishop. So white takes the pawn. Okay. And while this is blocked, Morphy swings the knight and attacks the bishop. See, this diagonal is blocked by his own pawn. See that? So there's no taking on f7. So he has a split second. Black reacts to attack that bishop while he can. And now, here's the move by white. D3. Okay. First suggested in theory back in 1849. This move was advocated by Morphy himself, who regarded it as the only one which enables the first player to preserve his advantage. And that's ACM, which, let me go back and look. I think that's American Chess Monthly or Magazine. ACM, Chess Monthly, New York. That publication ran from 1857 to 1861. All right. So Morphy wrote that. And this is the only move he thinks allows white to maintain his advantage. Well, anyway, Anderson upheld bishop. He liked bishop check over here, and was followed up by Steinitz. And you can see Shredder likes this. When he takes here, you take back, and now you're hitting the bishop once again. Okay, you can get a little tricky here with you're pinning this one, so he would win that one, right? So, okay, you give up your queen, knight takes back, and okay, the bishop is still under attack. So he moves back here. He keeps this pawn pinned, I guess. And look at this. All right, so he goes here. Look at this. Now you get that bishop. If you want it, you might as well, because this is dead wood over here, and it's all. This is the whole crux of Black's 2 knights defense, is that you sacrifice a pawn, so it's like a gambit, but usually you get good play for all your pieces except this guy, and that's like the question. That's what the problem for Black is, this knight. You know, it's hard to get back in the game. And if you do get it back in the game, you're wasting tempos. Okay, so this would make sense because you get rid of that strong king bishop for white. You know, that's a nice trade right there. And then, I don't know, you got black has the bishop pair. And yet he has a pawn less. So it's a fight now. It's a pretty strong defense because they still haven't ruled it out as being inferior. So it's worth knowing this one. So there's a little deeper in this line. If someone doesn't play the pawn, this isn't the most common move. I think this is the more common move in modern time. And you got to take like this with the pawn, and that puts pressure on him, and he's got to waste time. I think the move we see a lot is the bishop coming back. Then you boot this guy, and he goes back. Then you boot him again. And, okay, wherever he wants, maybe he wants to go there. Okay. You put pressure on him. There you go. You take on Passant. Now he's hanging, so he recaptures. And you got something like this going on. You got your bishops are ready to fight. They're ready to go to war on the white king side, aiming down there already. And white's it's gonna take a while for white to castle queen side if he wanted. He's got the queen. He's got every piece on the queen side. Hasn't moved yet, right? So if he castles short, those black bishops are ready. And this is black's question here. How's he going to get this guy back into the game? You know, this way, that way. That's what's tricky. Because other than that, black's looking pretty good. This knight's in an awkward place, and he is down a pawn. It is a gambit. So, you know, you're giving something to get something else. Is it worth it? That's the question. One thing for sure, you're following Morphy and you like Morphy's style, this defense is going to be right up your alley because you're going to have good piece action. Those bishops, you're going to castle, your queen's going to get in the game quick. And, you know, despite being down a pawn, you don't really care because you like the piece action. And you could whip up some threats. Maybe you end this game before that even becomes a factor. You know, that would mean something in the end game, but you won't even reach it if you could mate this guy, right? So that's one to remember. It's good to focus on the two knights defense. It's a good defense. So anyway, for our style, you know. But here we got in this game the D3 move. And it continues the notes here. So like Anderson liked the bishop check, and Steinitz also liked the bishop check. But here, Morphy's opinion seems to have prevailed. His opponents in the present game were acting on his advice for his own use of the move. See games, well, let's see here. See games 63 and 120 and 200. All right. So, you got, 63, 120, and 200. All right, so here we go. At this point, you attack the bishop. White defends with D3. Here we go. Look at this. You hit the knight. You hit the knight back with H6. So you took care of the bishop. Now you're knocking this guy back, okay? So he swings back. And here we got a note. It says, theory gave bishop to C5. Castles, and then let's see, is it C3? Let me turn the page. Here we go. Yes, C3, which is threatening the pawn fork with B4. Okay? For instance, let's just move a silly move. See this, folks? You got to watch for those. Even if you get this guy, he takes there, and now your knight, well, once again, your knight has only one square to run to right here, right, for safety. And he's again, awkward position. You defend him C6, you got your black queen on D8. All right, Shredder likes this better now. Maybe because you get the bishop. There you go. He brings this guy here, attacking your rook. Here we go. Look at all this. What's going on? He's going to give up. I guess because if you move this guy to safety, look at this. You see the threat, folks? Let's say he goes here, right? I'll tell you what, more logical. Let's take you're going to push your pawn or something, right? Look at this. Look at this. Knight takes, you lose the queen, folks. Knight fork. Forget it. The game's over. The game is over, right? Does this do anything? Not really, right? There you go. All right, we get him. We got our 2 rooks ready, but, folks, we lost a lot. We're giving up a lot of wood. A lot of wood. So we can't do that, all right? You can't be a knucklehead. You see, he brings that guy there for a reason. So you boot the knight first. You're going to give up him. You take this guy, and he's going to retreat that guy. You're going to win. All right, you're going to win this pawn. You're going to, let's see, he's going to take there. Now, beautiful in-between move. You threaten mate on G2. See this? You threaten mate. You get this guy developed while you can. See that? All right, he's got a block. Wow, that bishop's pinned on A5, so there you go. You take here. All right, so you're going to pick up the bishop. We're going to have to trade, because we still got to pick up that bishop. We need the time. All right. He comes down with that check. All right, we're up. See, this is pretty much forced, folks. Look at how long this line is, right? But now let's see what we have, right? Get a load of this. White's up the exchange, right? He's got 5 pawns to black 6. Remember that black queen picked off a few pawns, right? A couple of pawns, I should say. And here he is. He's down the exchange, but up a pawn. So it's tough. They're giving the evaluation is around a half a pawn for white. But a lot of games still, you know, the black pieces are placed nice. You know, they're placed nicely. And who knows where it goes from here. That's an interesting line. But how did we get there? Let me see what was going on. Oh, yeah. So, okay, not all's lost here. Even if he hits you with that pawn fork. Interesting stuff. Whether this is all the best moves, who knows? Because we're doing it quick, right? But he takes the bishop, which is logical. I think most of your opponents would take the bishop over the knight. Because, let's see here. If you take the knight, all right, you don't want to go here because he could push c5 already. He could push c5, and he could, you know, he's going to harass that bishop. So you could just go all in one go. You go all the way back. But, you know, this pawn formation on the white, you know, black's getting cramped here. Might be playable. Still less than half a pawn, so maybe, you know, you could try it. You could try that one. But the other line was interesting, too. He takes, I would think most people are going to grab your bishop because they know the knight, you can easily calculate that the knight has no other squares. You don't want to drop this piece, right? So, and if you hit this guy in between, I think he could take on f7 maybe, right? Because it's a check move. He could win a pawn right there. But he doesn't want to. Can't you just go like this and then pick up the knight? You win a pawn, right? Oh, but look at those pawns too. Those are triple not isolated because you got the D pawn. But look at that, huh? And he pushes forward. You attack the C pawn. You know, this game is so rich with so many. Who knows where it's gonna go here, folks? Very odd, but it looks like it's given white a clear advantage. A pawn and a half. I mean, you got 6 pawns to. White didn't lose a single pawn yet, but they are tripled up on the C file there. But I think most of the opponents are going to take there. And figuring this guy's got it, this is the only safe square for the knight. He could calculate that you're going to move him there. And that knight in the two knights defense, that theme of this queen knight being misplaced, that's the common theme to the question here for black, you know. So anyway, we're looking at this. I threw a dinky king move just to show you that pawn threat, the pawn fork. So on this move, right, they say take the knight, take the bishop now with the knight. Okay, he takes back. And now you're throwing, look at this, now you're throwing the bishop here, attacking that queen. Okay, you can't play the F pawn to block because this bishop on C5, the dark square bishop, he's got it covered. See, he can't, that pawn's pinned. So you get your pieces out again. You got, you're down, you lost the D pawn, but, you know, white's got doubled C pawns. He has an extra pawn, but they're doubled. So who knows where this goes. All right, you bring him back. He pushes here, harassing this guy. Are we going to want to go to E7 maybe? Because look at this in-between move. Attack the queen. All right, he moves here, attacking your pawn. All right, now you got to do that. But what happens if he pushes here? Right? Does he win the pawn, folks? I don't know. Let's see, you go here. You can't take. Would it be because you can play? Let's see, he takes here. All right, you're setting up to win a pawn. You could take here. You're threatening to take the. Let's see. No, you're not. The queen and the queen on E5 and the bishop on C1 are protecting that knight on G5. But we win the pawn. We win it back. So we're going to set him up. Discovery. All right, he gets out of that. Right. And there you go. You got a game going on here. You know, it's a battle. You are down a pawn, but double C pawns. And you got the bishop here. So, you know, a nice, you got a nice knight there in the center of the board. But you got these bishops ready to develop. I don't know if you can't do that. You'll lose the bishop here. And then, yeah, look at this. You attack that pawn formation. Oh, that's ugly. Look at this. He's going to take. I guess he can't. Well, yeah, he can. Let's see. If he goes like this, you take. And he can't take here because rook takes rook, right? You take down there. But what if he takes here like this? You take. Holy smokes. Look at this. Discovery on the queen. Look at the traps that are waiting, folks. You see, he gets out of trouble, but look at that. You win the rook over here. Oh, forget it. Now black's up big time. So, you know, this is what I'm saying. You get your pieces developed. You get action, you know. You got action. That's what we want. We want to make things happen, you know. No boring chess here. So, all right, look at that. How many of your opponents might take that guy, right? You take him. You don't even lose the pawn. All right, so there you go. It's a game, folks. We got a game going on here. It's another way to play it. Two knights defense, very rich with active pieces. So here we go. So they're saying up until this point, C3, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop developing to G4. This used to be the line. Okay, and what do they give there? They don't even give a move for the queen. They leave it there. They say in black gets a good game. Okay, and an objection made against the text move is that it attacks a knight which is accomplishing nothing where it stands. But Morphy thought it correct. All right, so let's see what Morphy does here. bishop to c5 was the theory that we just looked at. But what Morphy does is he hits the knight back, kind of like in the modern line that we looked at. So the knight goes back, okay, and here we try to undermine the protection of the bishop on c4, folks. Look, Morphy always trying, right? Attacking. Look at this. All right, you don't want to fall for that trap. So what White does is he plays, I should say, he's playing against three people. They move the queen to e2. Okay, so now he can take that pawn, and the bishop will be protected by the queen. See that? Matter of fact, and now we can't take the knight because now the pawn is pinned to our king. So Morphy takes the knight now. Okay, and Jay Lowenthal comments, this, he condemns this as strengthening White's game. All right, so anyway, after the pawn takes back, now Morphy plays the bishop to c5. And here Maroczy suggests bishop to e7. So now the threat on the knight is renewed because, you know, the king bishop is shielding his king, so that this pawn's not pinned anymore. So they give, after that, the knight coming up, okay, coming up to e5, black castles, white castles, and then you have the bishop attacking that knight, f4 to protect it. You take en passant, and now the knight takes back, and then you get the rook attacking the queen down the e file, and that's where they leave it. So black again gets a good game. He gets piece action. He has the bishop here, but he's down a pawn. And according to Jay Lowenthal, this, you know, the pawn's protected on d5 with the c pawn. He thinks this is better for White, but, you know, again, we get action, folks. We can make things happen. That one pawn, is it really going to mean a difference if we're playing someone under 2,000? I don't think so. All right, so it's another way you can go with this. Very rich, full of ideas, the two knights defense. Okay, so again, after knight takes bishop, pawn takes knight, and Morphy playing the bishop here. Instead, Maroczy recommended shielding your king. But okay, here we go. Bishop to c5. Now we got this move. Look at this. h3 by White. And here we got a long note. It says here, this was long considered necessary. Jay Lowenthal says that otherwise black by castling would obtain an overwhelming attack. Okay, so here Maroczy suggests bishop to, I'm sorry, wrong note. Says this was long considered necessary. Jay Lowenthal says that otherwise black by castling would obtain an overwhelming attack. However, at Nuremberg, 1896, Chigorin and Techman continued. Okay, so here we go. Look at this. So he moves the knight here. Okay, and it says, and the analysis held that this enabled White to keep the pawn with a good game until the game Salvi, something like this, Marshall, Vienna, 1908, which continued. The knight goes back, Marshall castle. Then the knight attacks the bishop, okay, on c5. But black ignores it. Marshall ignored it, playing this bishop out. All right. And where does this queen go? This is an amazing move, because obviously you can't block, because then you renew the threat. Pawn takes, and you can't take with this because the bishop would capture the queen. So when he takes in, now the queen's vulnerable to a pin. Look at this. Right? So already wins him. Look at this. We could even pick up his pawn. Oh, but then he blocks. Look at that. Holy smokes. We renew the pin. He takes. Well, we're going to take that down there. He gets a spiteful check before he recaptures the bishop, right? Or does he? He doesn't even take the bishop? Oh, wait, I got to see this. Hold on. What happened here? What's he going to do? You get a check. He's going to try to pick off that rook on h1, I think. If he does this, folks, if he blocks like this, the knight's going to come in, no? Or, okay, we get the other guy in the game. We're going to double up on that bishop. No one could. He's shielding the king, but he's setting himself up. Nobody can protect him. Well, actually, he gets this check in now with the knight going after him. And then he could come up to protect. All right, mistake. There you go, mistake. So that's why this is even better. Plus, you get your other guy in the game. Right? He's dead in the water. So he can't give up the bishop just like that. So he's got to move, right? He can't go here because then we skewer him and we win the rook. Right? If he goes here, all right, we're threatening to bring the queen down now. We got backup. Heavy artillery now. All right, here comes the check. King wants to go there. Uh-oh, look at this. All right, here we go. We're going to win that. We're going to win that rook because he's got to protect it, right? This, we just take. We just take, and he takes, and we just renew the whole thing. Doesn't matter, right? And look what's coming. Look what's coming. He's got to, if he goes, he's got to protect that guy. If he goes here, queen takes. So he's got to protect him, but now we got the rook. Now we got 2 on it, see? And he's not going to make it, folks. He's not going to be here for long. Oh, boy, look at this. Knight check. He's got 1 square right there. Look at this. He's going to, if he takes, we take with check, and it's going to be over. Now we're even up material, right? We got everything back. And what can he really do? So going all the way back, he's toast. What else can he do? Right, we check, we bring the rook, he brings the knight out, we check him, where else can he go? And he goes over there. What if he goes down, just for argument's sake? All right, we're threatening mate on f7. I mean on f2, right? Queen to f2 is mate. Now, well, we just pretty much walked right into it. In g5 mates. Well, actually, okay, we take him. Now g5 is mate, right? There we go. You pin your queen, but a move too short, right? A move too late. All right, so here we go. The check, there's nothing else. All right, here we go. Last chance, knight. Here he goes there. He's gonna lose the rook to a skewer. See? Okay, he's got that. All right, we win this. Now we're gonna do it. We're gonna pick up the knight. If he saves the knight, we get this guy. Look, see that? All right, many ways to tear him up. Again, we got the peace action. That's what we want, folks, right? So how did this even? Oh, all this stuff is crazy. Kind of went into the silliness of it because no way is he gonna block, right? So There's no way. There's really nowhere to go except here, because I looked at the other moves. If he goes to D2, we push, right? And now he's got a. If he goes to D3, we take with check. And let's see if he goes in there, what happens, right? We bring in the rook here, ready to come down. Ah, he takes here. He takes. Oh, and look at this. We get the 2. And we pick up that. Luckily, we can pick up that. Wait, can we? What if he plays this? Okay, similar to before. We're going to win that bishop. No one else could help. He's going to save his knight, but we get the bishop. All right, so there you go. We're in it. We're back in it. And similar to before, right? What could he really do? Block here. All right, we take that piece. We're getting a piece back. Attack G2. Here we go. Look at this. He protects that one. We don't want to take the bishop because he takes back with the knight. And then he protects G2. See that? G2's hanging right now. But let's see what this would be. If the rook takes, he gets to push this guy and promote with check. Because the rook on F8 is protecting it, backing it up. See that? So it's amazing all this stuff you can do. Look at this. Now we're going to threaten the... Let's see. What is a check? We take him. That's desperation right there. That's desperation. Here we go. We're just picking. He's walking into it, folks. He has to. He's got nothing else. All right. Here we go. We're going to come down on H1. All right. Too late. What are we doing, folks? Come on. Come on. What are we doing here? So he can't even block and throw his pieces into the fire, right? Just to try to survive. So on this check, he can't go over there. He comes up. What do we got? We protect our bishop. Let's see. We protect our bishop. We threaten knight to E4, maybe a check. Is that what we're threatening? Yeah, there we go. Now he'd have to walk into a discovered check. But he takes he'd have to take. Because, matter of fact, wait a minute. He can't even move. He can't even move the pawn. The bishop covers E2. The king bishop covers E3. He can't even, he'd have to take. All right, so he takes here, and that knight covers E4. We can't do this else the white knight takes back. So we take him. All right, he's going to hit our bishop. Let's see what happens here. We ignore it. Look at this. You ignore it, folks. You get the rook into the game. He takes here. We get the check. All right. Now, you can't go here or we get a discovery, right? See this? Check. He moves. Let's see. He goes here. We pick up this guy, and we're ready. We're winning then. Okay. Look at this. So, he can't move there. He's got to stay off the E file. All right. Now we promote. Look at this. Look at this, folks. We promote, right? Queen. He takes. Now we're going to threaten to win, right? Win the queen. And he doesn't take because then we come down. We're threatening rook to E1 mate. And what could he do? Look, if he tries to protect that, the only way to protect that square is from here. Then we force a queen check, bring in the queen here, and we mate, right? Look at this. Desperation, right? If he tries to do this, well, now we step back on the dark squares because the white queen covers there. So we check from here. Well, now there you go, and once again, we eat them up. See what piece action does? The Morphy style, folks. All right, he tries to block the influence of the rook. Who cares? We take it. And now we're going to all the same. Rook to E1 is mate. So he's got to give up the queen for the rook. And there you go. Look, here we go. We're going to win the... Well, do we have to say any more? We'd win the rook in the corner over there, right? But we don't even go for it. We could bring this guy. Forget it, right? Forget about it. It's all over. Come on. He's going to block. Really? Here we go. We take with check. You know? And what else do you got? I mean, at least attack the rook, I guess. If you go there, it's mate, right? You go there, it's mate. You go here. All right, it's mate until. You don't even have to grab that rook. Well, he likes it like this. See that one, folks? It's a mate. Mate patterns all over the place. All right, so there you go. He can't even do that. He can't do this. He can't do that. So he can't step. The queen can't step here. Now, if you go up like this, there is another option. What did we look at? The queen stepping up, right? The queen can go here, but then we take with check. He steps over. Okay, is that where he wants to go? And look at this. I think we protect our bishop. Or do... Oh, no, we threaten mate on E1. We threaten mate, queen down, right? If... Oh, wait. Hold on here. If knight takes bishop, the white queen is still on that E1 square. Right? Like if he goes like this. Oh, we got the light square, mate. Holy smokes. I'm focusing on the dark square, E1. Look at this, folks. We got light square control, too. We'll meet him over there. Look at this. All right. That one slipped by me. All right. So he's got a block. All right. Here we go. He's giving that one away for free. All right. So he goes after us. All right. What's going on now? I mean, forget about it, folks. Look at this. We get a rook in the game. We get the rooks going. I mean, what do we have to say? Minus 19. All right, we're winning that one. Okay, so we got a lot going on here, but with went a little too far. Here we go. So what could he really do? Here we go. He goes over. You push the pawn, right? We looked at queen to A5. We looked at queen to D3, right? So what if he takes? What if he takes? Well, now we got the knight flying in. Okay. He goes to D3. Okay. Here comes the check. He blocks, right? Because what else could he do? He can't go anywhere except here. And then it's mate, right? All the other squares are controlled by the black pieces. So he's got to block. Now we sack this guy in a familiar theme. We've seen this before. And we win the rook. All right, so he goes to block. Look at this. We get a check in. That's maybe to keep the C3 square occupied by a pawn so the knight can't hop there later. So here we go. He got a trade now, and the bishop comes back. I don't know, maybe here attacking that one. He likes it here. Schroeder likes it there. All right, so now we got, let's see. Let's evaluate at this point. All right, so if we look, black has the two bishops, and he's up the exchange. And you got, let's see, white has an extra pawn, okay? It's 7 pawns to 6. But notice there's an isolated G pawn on G3, right? You also have double C pawns. So it's clearly given black an edge. It's almost a two-point edge here. All right, so black's doing good. So this is an amazing move here by Marshall, okay, where he plays the bishop right here. He ignores the attack on his bishop on C5 and develops the other one. Marshall was, cut from the same cloth as Morphy. He came a little later and was the next. You had Pillsbury and you had Marshall, Frank Marshall. Those were two other great American champions that were very tactical, great attackers. Now, Marshall placed his bishop move, and let's continue with the notes with an exclamation point. And they give this. They give what Shredder's finding is really the only square for that queen is F1. And what that does is now white can't castle, the queen's in the way. So it's if you look at it, black's castled, he's got two bishops out, he's got his knight developed, and white, all he has is a knight on B3. Look at everybody else, right? They're all asleep. So I mean, black is way ahead, white's in knots, and at this point, they just, with the queen going back, that's it. It just says Marshall winning a brilliancy prize with this game against Techman. And Techman ended up saying the continuation adopted by Marshall seems to dispose of king knight to D2 and secures for the two knights defense a place among the sound openings. And that's BCM, January 1909, BCM, the British Chess Monthly or something like that. Let's go back and look at the code. BCM, British Chess Magazine. Okay, 1909. All right, so we go back. What move are they talking about here? After you take there, you develop the bishop. The move for white. This is bad. This is bad. You know, they say that pretty much ended that idea of the knight on move 10, king knight to D2 on move 10. That put it to bed because of the way this game by Marshall went. They saw that black just had too much play, and white doesn't secure any. He has the extra pawn, but he gets destroyed. Okay, so they point out the fact that what these three did, Fisk, Fuller, and Perrin against Morphy, they played H3. It concludes in the notes, perhaps therefore pawn to H3 is best after all. So, you know, it's just, it goes to show you, because years later, this game is taking place in 1857, folks. And you're talking about not until 1909 did Marshall prove this move bad. This seemed to be thought of as the best move after a while, and yet now there you go. It turns out that H3 is considered the better move due to what Marshall did to Techman in Vienna in 1908. Okay, so there you go, a little background to the history of this two knights defense. But anyway, this is taking place in 1857, I said, right? New York, October 1857. So here we go, Morphy castles. So now that knight on F3 is hanging. There's no pin on this pawn anymore. So look at white. They decide to bring their knight to H2. Morphy does the same. He's clearing the way for his F pawn to protect that pawn at E4. He's looking to push his F pawn. Okay, well anyway, let's see how it plays out. Oh, and by the way, we got a note. The correctness or incorrectness of this has been much disputed. Morphy at least adhered to it. See games 84 and 242. All right, now there's two alternatives they give. One is perhaps this, Okay, pawn to e3, opening up that e file. And the other move is this, hitting the white center, trying to weaken that d pawn. You know, for instance, if he takes there, well then, now white gets that guy. And okay, you want to gain a tempo on him, well, alright. Queen moves to f5, that looks like a good move. And look at the evaluation, it's practically even. We got 6 pawns to 7, but you know, black again has good piece action. All right, so let's look at the other one. Was this move here? Can you take like that? They trade. Well, obviously he can't take like this, right, folks? There's the jokes. There go the jokes, folks. There's the punchline of the night. All right, and here we go. If you take this way, my mistake. If you take this way, well, now you see the knight posts up. It's an outpost, folks. E4 is now an outpost. No white pawns could boot him out of there. And you see the weakness along this diagonal here. That queen, a queen check coming on h4. Matter of fact, look, you go like this. Oh, well, forget about it. What am I saying? Look at this. You're forking the rook and queen. I was looking at this, you know. This. I guess he runs that way. And then we could, well, if he goes that way. Because if he goes here, folks, you see what happens? Look at this knight fork. That's a family fork. They call that a family fork. All right, we'd win the queen, right? So he'd go this way. I guess we'd win that rook in the corner outright. Right, so then he hits you here and you got to run. You attack b2 in the meanwhile, right? And you come out. And I think you get away grabbing a rook. Look at this. You get away grabbing a rook. I guess that's it for white pretty much, right? So my move's good. But let's take a3 back. I guess this is just as well, really, because the white queen can't even move back to recapture, right? You end up losing your queen if you do that. So, all right, here you go. You get the rook anyway. You don't even have to bring the queen out. So, all right, so no a3. So he plays the rook here. So you avoid that. And really now a check. He could play. Can he? Well, maybe he can't even play this. I took the rooks there to push this. Right? But already goes back. Attacks b2. Play this. Not this like in the other line, because now look at this, folks. Now look at that, huh? Well, you can't win the rook because they're linked up now, but you're picking up some pawns. I think now you're up a pawn. Oh no, it's tied. Okay, it's tied 6-6. But white has an isolated a pawn, an isolated g pawn, and these c pawns are doubled here. These two are doubled. So white's definitely got, and white has the bishop too. So I give that to white. I mean, I give. What did I just say? Black has the bishop against the knight. So black has the better pawn structure, and he has the bishop against the knight. And I think it's much easier to play. White's king is pretty exposed. All right. So although this is not a large advantage, I think it's easier to play for black. You know, so I give it to black there. But anyway, all right. So he attacks b2. You play c3, and you again. Okay, you win this pawn. Comes the knight. All right, they trade. All right, king takes, linking up those rooks. And again, you got the easier game. Let's see. Wait, he likes this move. Oh, attacking down there. And also setting up. Look at this. Wait a minute. trapping my bishop over there. He's going to trade the queen to buy time, and now, okay. Preparing to take on, okay, white's going to win back a pawn, I guess, or not? Let's see, yeah. He wins back the pawn like that. So now we got 5 to 5, right? It's tied up with the pawns. It's a rook and pawn endgame now, out of all things. These are very complicated, but we got these connected past pawns. Looks pretty good, huh? White's got a passed E pawn, but this is where you need some grandmaster advice here. So I really don't know how to play this. I'd say it's about drawn. You know, you need some grandmaster advice. I really don't know. Playing it fast like this is probably not the best. But at this point, you know, I'd say it's anybody's game. So you go back. This all stemming from bringing the bishop out like this on that move. All right. So who knows? That's on this push. If black chose to play E3, so it didn't really, you know, it gave white some possibilities of slipping up. But if he plays it cool, he gets through it, I guess. So Morphy not going with this move or the B5 move. He plays his knight, preparing F5 to protect his center pawn. Okay? So here we go. Let's see what happens. Now, white decides to play bishop to E3 now. Okay? And it says here, in the 2 games just mentioned, Riveri played knight to C3, okay, and Morphy played F5, protecting his E pawn, okay. I believe he did it on his 12th move, okay. We're going to have to go look back at that, but also in another game, Riveri played knight to D2, and I think Morphy also played F5. Whether it was right away or in a few moves, I'm not sure. But we can look those up. Those games. Let me see. Let me look. Okay, take me a second. And Roman numerals. I'm not bad with Roman numerals. Let's see. We got game 84, which is not far off. Let's see where we go here. 84, 83, 84. Here we go. And we got move 12, right? Move 12. Let's see. I get that right. Let's see here. Okay. Here you go. All right. Knight to H7. And here we got, okay. We're very playing this. Knight to C3. Okay. Right away, Morphy plays this. All right. Protecting his center. Okay. And then in the other game, which was 242. Holy smokes. Not for a while. 200. So 200. Here we go. We're getting close. Roman numerals, I'll tell you. 242, right? 242. We're getting there. Here we go. 240. 241. Here we go. 242. All right. Knight to D2. And sure enough, it was right away. Okay. This is in this game as in game 84 against the same opponent. Morphy finds time to make the advance of the king, the, the king bishop pawn, for which his 11th move prepared. All right, that's a little note from the game that's going to come up. This move right here, the knight going back to h7, prepares f5. But let's go back to the present game. This was against Riveri, okay, and so was against Riveri. Both times Morphy played f5 is the point. But in this present game, White plays bishop to e3, okay. So, and it says here the text move seems best. Okay, so what does Morphy do? Well, no, he doesn't throw the check. Although that's interesting. We bring the bishop back, I guess. All right, but anyway, Morphy brings the bishop here. He posted up on this diagonal now. Okay, and White gets time to castle. And now Morphy brings the queen up. He brings the queen up to h4. This turns out ill. In both games against Riveri, Morphy successfully played pawn to f5 on his 12th move, which here could be countered with pawn to f4. Okay, because if you notice, the bishop took over this diagonal. Okay, and let's look at it. Let's look at this opposed to this move, okay? And then you go here. Now, when White castles, he can't play the f pawn up because it's pinned by the bishop. Whoops. It's pinned by the bishop, right? You see that? No different if the knight comes here to d2. Although Shredder, I noticed that he goes all in with this. But the point being, with f5 and then castles, again, White cannot play f4 because that pawn is pinned. See that? But in the present game, now the bishop takes over that diagonal, and the f pawn can move if he needs to. Right? One more curious thing. Well, I guess we'll get into this move in that Riveri game. Maybe it's like 200 and something, right? We'll look at this one. I'm curious, but this game's getting pretty long, so we'll leave that down the road. We'll dissect that move. Looks interesting. So we'll stick to this game. Here we go. The bishop, Morphy brings it back. White castles, and now the queen coming up. We don't have f5. And here we go. Look at this. So he plays this one, okay? Because notice we're keeping that knight. We're keeping that white knight out of play. Okay, we're keeping him. We like to boot that queen away. But we got our pawn on e4. But he plays this. Look. Now he's blocking our bishop out. And Morphy decides to take en passant. And here we go. Now the knight comes back into the game. Tempo on the queen. Queen goes back to h5. Now the other knight develops. Rook grabbing the open file, pinning that bishop on e3. Well, White feels the need to move his queen out of that danger on that e-file. So here we go. Now we got the knight, Morphy's knight, coming back into the game on f6. Bishop to d4. And Morphy with the knight swinging up, attacking the queen. And the knight on c3 while they trade. That brings the rook up. Rook over, queen, rook. Queen, rook. Can't let White double on this. Oh, actually, we got the bishop. We can't even swing the other rook. My finger was in front of this bishop. I didn't see it. I wanted to swing this rook over, but Morphy has to defend the rook with the bishop, and now they trade here. He takes back, and now knight swings to. They're threatening. What are they threatening here? This guy? No. The knight to h4. Let me just see something. What's this? Oh, you hit this guy. Maybe what? You go. Oh, you get. Oh, you can't. You can't protect there anymore because the knight. The knight's covering g6. So now you got to go over here. It's your only square. Now you get in. See. You win that pawn, I guess. All right. So let's see. So on this knight move, Morphy senses the danger. Look at this. He brings this rook over to protect it. Morphy says that pawn to f5 was better, but pawn but it says but white's 23rd, which not Fritz Shredder sees it. Pawn to c5 is then still more unpleasant. This is bad because where can this bishop go now, right? He's got to retreat. See, what Morphy does is he plays this, and now white plays this c5, okay? And now at least Morphy has this square for the bishop. All right, but they take. He takes back, and now they have to protect. White has to protect the d5 pawn. You can't go for any pins yet because he just slips out of the pin before white could build up on that bishop, and that pawn falls on d5. So he's got to play c4 to protect his center. All right, and now where are we? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, now here's that b5 move attacking, trying to undermine the center there. See that? And then we could win this one, the d5 pawn. But he doesn't bite. He brings the knight here, attacking the queen. All right, we take, and he takes back with the pawn. Look at this. He takes, let's see, bishop takes, pawn takes bishop. Now, had he taken here, that b pawn is hanging. Look, he's throwing a check in first. He goes back, and we just take this one, I guess. And he protects the d pawn, and he wins this one. So he's chiseling away, you know. You chisel away. You get one here, there. All right. What do we got now? Attack the rook over here. Right? He protects. You take. All right. And then he decides to go for a queen trade. And now that pawn on d6 looks pretty vulnerable. Let's see. We take the squares away from the king. I don't even know. Let's see what happens here. Comes up to get the c4 pawn, maybe. Nope. He's going after this one. We're going after that one. This looks like it's going to probably be a draw, right? Look at this. We win this one, that one. He checks here. Oh, okay. So now, well, if he takes here, we take there. You know, we're just trading them off, really. All right. So that looks like it's pretty even. So white doesn't take with the queen here. The three, let me give the names again. Pretty smart, clever on their part. You got Fisk, Fuller, and Perrin. They take with the pawn. Okay, so now we can't take down there. But Morphy takes. Let's see. All right, no, he doesn't take the c pawn. He brings the rook over. He takes over the e file. So white can't challenge him at all on the e file. But here we go. He hits him with this pawn. All right, let's trade. And sure enough, right? Let's see what we take the pawns first. Let's see. Wait. Is that right? Let me go back. He takes the c4, right? The bishops take blah 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 blah. The rook came over. What move? That was 25, right? Okay. The knight came back. He takes back with the pawn. Rook over. Pawn to bishop 4, hitting the queen. The queen comes up. Oh, yeah. To e3, wanting to trade. Pawn takes pawn, it says. And where's pawn takes pawn? We can't take pawn takes pawn. That's move 29. What did I do wrong here? Luckily, we got a diagram. We'll go back. Let's see. It was the rooks. Yeah, bishop came. Right, bishop to defend the rook. Okay. Let me make sure this diagram's right. I didn't have this problem when I reviewed the game. I don't know what just happened here. I must have read something wrong. All right, we got it right. And then they take, right? Rook takes rook. Bishop takes. Okay. Knight to h4. Rook to f8. Pawn to bishop 5. That's pressuring the bishop. He goes to e5. They trade. Queen takes. Now pawn to c4. Pawn to king knight 4. Oh, it's this one, not this. That's why. All right, my mistake. So here you go, right? So now the knight drops back. I'll tell you, it says pawn to k knight 4. I read it as the queen on the queen knight 4. All right, so there goes descriptive notation again. Knight to f3, he takes, and they take with the pawn, because all of what I was saying was correct before. If he takes like this, it opens the door to that, or the check. Okay? So they take with the pawn. Now this is very interesting here. What ends up happening is now he takes the e-file, like I said. This pawn comes up attacking the queen. He comes down here. And they don't trade. They trade pawns. That's right here. That's why pawn takes pawn. And it said pawn takes pawn. And now they trade. Okay, they trade. And rook takes back. And now king up to protect h3. Now we got king up. And we got here a pass pawn is created. Look at this. All right. You get behind. You want your rook behind the pass pawn, whether it's your own or the enemy. Okay, so now white can't get behind it and back it up and push it up. So what he does is he at least protects it with this pawn. Now, king up. He plays king up. Maroxy says that pawn to a5 would have made it much harder for white to win, because he wouldn't be able to support this pawn, right? And if for instance, say he wants to play this, so he plays a3 first in order to back up that b pawn push. Now you could play something like this, and that one pawn on a4 stops the a3 pawn and also stops this guy. Because the minute he tries to move, well, now you take en passant and you're 2 away from queening. this guy's got a way to go. You know what I mean? So you got to watch those bloopers like that in an end game. You get this pawn's ready to go to a4 if white makes that mistake of coming here first. Because what he's trying to do is he's trying to support that one, and then you'd have this, and now you got your pawns in a pawn chain. They're connected, and that's more vital, especially against only one over here. That's going to be a win, all right. But when you make a mistake like this, see, the one pawn could come up and stop both pawns. So that's something you got to remember. That's a nice little pattern that could bail you out if your opponent doesn't know what he's doing, right? So Morphy says this was the move, at least to try for now. It slows white down on the queen side. He's got to slowly build up to get that pawn to. He's got to do. Well, we'll see what he does. He does a nice job over here. Morphy ended up moving the. Let's see. He ends up moving his king, I believe, right? Yeah, he moved his king up. I mean, it's a good idea to get the king in the game, but now he can miss out on getting that a5 move. All right, he wants to trade the rooks off. Come on. I got the passed pawn, so on d6, ready to go in. So he gives a check instead. King up. Now, let me ask you something. Why can't he take over there, folks? Well, you see right away, like I said, rooks belong behind the passed pawn. Now, white takes over that d file, and black can't stop this pawn now. How can he get to it in time? He goes there, look, you go up, and you got nothing. You can't get there because the pawn will just take you, see? You capture diagonally, remember? So you can't make a blunder like this. It looks like white made a mistake. Oh, I could win this one and that one. But nope, you got to stay behind that D pawn. Don't let white get in there and back it up and push it to promote. So he gives a check. The king goes up to G3, and now Morphy pushes his F pawn. He has a passed F pawn. He's got to try to make something of it. Look at this. Rook over to B3, attacking this guy. And we get the check first. King over. And now we get, we go after this one. Rook to H2. Well, the pawn's going to queen, folks, but look at this. Check, right? King up. And then the only way to stop that pawn now is to go there. Well, rook takes pawn. He wins the B pawn. King's trying to come over. Rook to B7. All right. Rook to C7. Ready to come down, you see. And now the king comes. This is the threat, folks. Let me just do a dumb move. Look. Now he comes down. What are you going to do? If the rook moves off, the pawn comes on in. If you take, right, you get the promotion. Actually, I hit the wrong button. You get the promotion. Queen, baby. All right, so he's got to move. He moved his king up. Okay, and sure enough, white brings his rook down, and Morphy sticks his rook here to stop that pawn from promoting. But look at this move. Instead of rook down, the move, let's see. You got rook here, and he comes over. He takes, white takes, but they say this is even better. This is even better, protecting, see? And now no matter what black does, I mean, if he just gives up the rook, I mean, what does that tell you, right? Matter of fact, now he could just check, and then he'll take it, right? He's going to take it, I guess. He's going to win that pawn, but big deal. We got other things to go after. So, this move was better. After the blockaded with the rook, C6 was the better move, but here you go. He takes, Morphy takes back. Now the pawn comes up, and Morphy comes out. Let's see, he pushes this guy first. Okay? Now, like I said, king up this way, okay? And let's notice a few things here. You might be saying, wait a minute, he just let Morphy win by, he's going to promote. Look, folks, he never gets a chance. Checkmate. How about that one? Did you see that? Look, look, look. White comes up, right? Now, if you think, oh, he forgot, I'm going to be able to promote because the king can't catch it now, right? No, he steps up. What are you going to do as black? You can't move, folks. Your king he can't move. And then you move your pawn up, big deal. Now you get checkmated. You got to be aware. Every move counts, folks. Every move. You got to look at everything. So, look, he comes up, and Morphy stepped out. Okay, now with that, now the pawn is ready to run in. So he has to go back to make sure that that pawn doesn't run and make it in. Okay, so from here now Morphy can do nothing but go back because he's got to babysit this guy too. He could run in. So he's got to watch these two pawns. And now here comes White. Like I said, you can't do this or you get this one. Now one pawn stops two. Do you see it? And I think this is a draw now. It would be a draw. Do you see the difference, folks? How crucial every move is? Look. You go up, boom. Now, what are you going to do? Push this one up anyway? You don't win the race, folks. Look. You don't win, see? You actually lose now. So, what can you do? The king can't come over here to kill that guy because he's got to babysit these. And meanwhile, while he babysits these, right, like this, black Morphy has to babysit these two. So it's a draw. The king's busy babysitting these. He's busy babysitting. I don't want to go here. I mean, what I keep. If that's the case, if White goes here, then this guy goes in. Okay. So he's got to babysit these, right? He's got to babysit these. Okay. And these over here can't move because this one pawn on A4 stops them both. So it's a draw. Okay? So what happens is White plays his only move. And it's not going to be A4, folks. Okay? He plays B3. Okay? So now watch how you do it. This is technique right here. Now you play A3. Because now if you do that, I mean, heck, you could take it and run in because it's too far away for the black king. Or I don't know, can you even pay? You could probably pass and just come in too once you get these going. Let me see. Can you go? Yeah, you can go that way too. I just wanted to make sure, right? What happens on? Oh, look at this. If he goes there, right? I'm thinking this. But okay, let's do it. Let me see. If you do this, he can take it. Then you queen there, right? If he goes back, I mean, what the heck? You got him set up in your trap, right? Like before. So, all right, there you go. So he could be one away again, and there you go. You got him like that trap. Okay. So anyway, you could win it that way. But the point being is right here. White's move Okay, after king to d8, okay, we had move 48. Key move to remember is b3. Okay, nothing black can do. Now a3. Nothing black can do, and there you go. Now you can push. And, you know, Morphy resigned. Because no matter what he takes, he's got to take back. If he pushes, we see like before, right? What are you going to do, huh? Look, he's going in. You throw this guy up. All right, fine. Here you go. Here's the queen. Check. Right? Let's see. Look at this. All right, he goes there. And there it is. Right? All right, so there you go. Folks, I'll tell you, I'm back and I'm revving to go. It's not easy, this stuff. It's not easy. So I hope to do these consolation games in the coming weeks, and we'll get a move on again. We'll get into this stuff. All right. So till next game, I'll see you on Morphy's Games of Chess.